6 months after the transmission of this bill to the state assemblies, 6 months after, it is most disheartening to inform you that only 11 state houses of assembly, 11, have demonstrated their independence and loyalty to the Constitution regarding the 44 bills. Only 11. 25 state houses of assembly are yet to consider and vote on these bills. So far, only Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Delta, Edo, Kaduna, Katsina, Kogi, Lagos, Ogun, and Osun states have successfully considered, voted on, and forwarded their resolutions on the 44 bills to the National Assembly. More worrisome is that while we are still expecting the receipt of the resolutions of the remaining houses of assembly, we received a letter from the Conference of Speakers of State Assemblies informing the National Assembly that the remaining states will not act. The remaining states will not act on the 44 bills unless the National Assembly passes 4 new bills they have proposed in the letter. The bills they propose to seek to amend the Constitution includes 1, a bill to establish state police. This is a bill that we've already considered and voted on as required by the Constitution. State police. 2, a bill to establish state judicial council. 3, a bill to streamline the procedure for removing presiding officers of state houses of assembly. And 4, a bill to institutionalize legislative bureaucracy in the Constitution. We want to ensure everyone understands this. The National Assembly is in no way averse to acting on any proposed bill or memoranda appropriately tabled before it at any time during the life of this National Assembly. However, it is legally and constitutionally inappropriate for the Conference of the Speakers to use the 4 bills as a quid pro quo to act on the 44 bills the National Assembly has transmitted. It is clear, and we cannot overstate, that this letter is not in keeping with the obligation the Constitution has placed on them regarding the constitutional amendment. Let me also make clear, we believe it is the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob. Let us be clear, the bills the National Assembly transmitted to the State House of Assembly as required by the Constitution are not about members of the National Assembly. It transcends our personal and political interest. It is about the people who have graciously given us the temporary privilege to serve them. The offices and positions we each hold belong to the people, and they yearn for a government that is honest, accountable, and responsive to their needs. It is therefore disheartening that some state houses of assembly, through the Conference of Speakers, will give the National Assembly conditions before fulfilling their constitutional obligations, which is either to vote it up or vote it down, or make transmissions. Although the Conference of Speakers did not allude to this in their letter, we are aware of the undue interference with legislative processes and political capture of some state houses of assembly by some state governors. No doubt some state governors have worked tirelessly to turn the Conference of Speakers and some state assemblies into political puppets, thereby undermining and delegitimizing the legislative institution at the state level. This interference has been ramped up, especially in opposition to the bills granting financial and political autonomy to the local governments. And this is what it's all about. We transmitted 44 bills, but we know what's at stake here. It is those 2 bills dealing with local government autonomy, admin and financial. That is what this is all about. An independent state legislature is essential to the well-being of Nigeria's constitutional democracy. That is why the ongoing attempt by some state governors, with the support of some speakers and allies in the State House of Assembly, to eliminate that independence should alarm all Nigerians. This posturing by the Conference of Speakers of State Assemblies should be shown for what it truly is, a total disregard for the Nigerian constitutional system. It remains true that each State House of Assembly is independent of the other, no doubt. However, constitutional amendment bills require the approval of 2/3, that's 24, of the 36 State House of Assembly before they can be presented to the President for assent. Therefore, how a State Assembly decides on each of the bills is prerogative. But there must be a decision for citizens to know where each State House of Assembly stands on the issue this bill seeks to address. Please permit us to use this opportunity to appeal to citizens, civil society organizations, interest professional groups, and institutions to prevail on the Conference of Speakers to withdraw their threat to truncate the Constitution amendment process. Instead, we should all speak up to defend the Constitution and our democracy. Suppose we ignore this brazen attempt by some governors to truncate the constitutional process. In that case, we will ultimately be enablers of the undermining of a critical bulwark of our democracy, which we should not allow. While we use this medium to applaud all State Houses of Assembly that have successfully considered and approved the constitutional alteration bills, we also urge the remaining 25 State Houses of Assembly to keep faith with Nigerians, and the Constitution they swore to uphold. May we all honor our pledge to Nigerians to build and reform by listening to our people.
Here we are with a very sad information of untwisting the whole process. As you have said, it's a whole process as enshrined in the Constitution. And I can say that this process has been followed up to the latter, from the public hearings in the 12 states to the public hearing here in this National Assembly chambers. And Nigerians freely canvass for position on all those issues. And I remembered the position of NLC about the state police was very clear. Check the history of thuggery in Nigeria and also insecurity. How do we actually empower political thugs to now become bandits and even become Boko Haram? Check the history very well. It started with political thuggery. And clearly, our position is we are not matured for that. If a state governor can deploy political thugs for peaceful protest, you should know that if he has state police, he will do worse than that. And so this process was very transparent. And I think we should realize all of this. And Nigerians also will have the opportunity to speak to those issues. This is why it's important for the process to be very transparent. If people have forgotten, we have not forgotten. It's well documented. Before 1999, we don't have Boko Haram. We never had bandits. We never had thuggery. How do we have them? And how do they acquire arms? Can all of these people acquire arms? The answer is no. Who empowered them? Still the political elites. We remember the issue of Native Authority Police, how they were used and how they were disbanded. If we have forgotten, we remember the issue of state INEC. All of us are complaining now that elections in local governments are not transparent, they are not independent. Is that what we want to aggravate? Our colleagues should actually interrogate all of these issues. We are not sentimental about it. We are a pan-Nigerian organization. We understand the issue. As rightly pointed out, there is a state that has not paid salary for 26 months. 26 months, including medical doctors. In fact, one of the polytechnics in that state, the accreditation has been withdrawn. Why? Because they have not met the standards. This is where we are. So let's put all those issues in a basket as we are looking at those issues. But I think it's to commend the National Assembly. You did the needful. But on local government autonomy, we stand. And it's good that we have had this information. We are going to start the mobilization immediately. We cannot get Nigeria correct if we don't have independent institutions that are working. We need independent institutions to be working. That is the foundation of good governance. If we don't have independent institutions, we have only strong people. Strong people, like we have in the case of the governors, we cannot dream of good governance in our country. In fact, all developed countries, you have very strong institutions, independent. The judiciary need to be independent and well-funded. Same with the local governments and also the legislature. But if they are in the pocket of one person, you are sure that we will not have good governance and will be going round shackles of cycle. This is my contribution, and we better interrogate the issue instead of just speaking for the surface or joining bandwagon of the politicians that are canvassing to strengthen their power instead of developing this power and strengthening institutions so that those institutions will work. Once again, I thank you immensely. We'll be ready to commence the process of making sure that the autonomy for local government, the autonomy for the judiciary, and the autonomy for our legislature is actually approved by the state. This is the conversation they told us. We have told all the national state houses assembly, and the conversation they told us is that they are ready to approve and pass those bills. That is what they told us, and everybody is aware, including you journalists. You followed us to every state and every nook and cranny where we have canvassed for those issues. Because we cannot fix Nigeria if we still have this power in the president of the people.